Well, when you're heading to Portugal, Oitavos has to be on your list of places to go and play and stay. Tell us a little about the history of Oitavos.
So Oitavos, long story short, the grounds of the golf course and the hotel and some other projects we have in place are in my family since 1921. Okay, so great grandfather of mine purchased a huge piece of land in 1921. He had a dream, which basically was to develop a luxury residential and tourism destination. Back in the day, there was no such thing as an architect firm in Portugal. So he actually went to the UK, where he ended up speaking to an architect firm where he drew the master plan of what he would like to develop in the grounds of what currently is Oitavos. Okay, he used the first project we have has a name, and the name is the Garden City. So the Garden City basically was a luxury residential and tourism destination with sports facilities. When this great grandfather of mine bought the land, there was a small horse riding facility, and he bought this piece of land from a German guy. So we've inherited a little business at the time when the land was bought. I don't even know if it was a business in itself, but we inherited all the with the purchase. A small horse riding facility came along. So 1921, 19 from 1921 to 1929, when we there was the big crash, stock exchange crash. Basically, the great grandfather stabilized the sand dunes, planted a huge umbrella pine forest, secured water to the property from the nearby mountains in Sintra, 1920, and developed the master plan, the initial master plan. Then 1929, 29, the stock exchange crash. Then 1937, the great grandfather dies, leaves the property in a trustee to four children. One of them was my grandfather. 1939, Second World War. It goes for a few years until 1942. Then the land was not much developed beyond stabilizing the sand dunes because we're coastal, we're on the sea. We are in what the Scottish people call the link land, in between farmable land and the ocean. That's where Oitavos is, okay? Trees were growing, the horse riding facility was there, one or two houses from the families was being developed, but not much beyond that. And then the four people who inherited this huge piece of property, the, the, and eventually these four brothers ended up a dispute over something else. So this land was not divided in four equal shares until the late 70s. Late 70s, the four brothers who inherited the original property divided that property in four equal shares. And then that's my grandfather now. Then my grandfather with his children, my father and his uncles, start to develop 1/4 of the original property. On that 1/4 of the original property, we kept the horse riding facility that originally was there. And then we started to develop some real estate. In 2001 comes Oitavos Dunes Golf Course. 2004, we developed a big sports facility we have in place called Quinta da Marinha Health and Rocket Facility. And in 2010, we opened Oitavos Hotel. So, long story short, that's kind of the story where and how Oitavos Dunes Golf Course comes to life. 2001, September 2001, we opened doors. So it's now 23 years, or we will be 23 years in September. And here we are. So it was developed by the family. It is managed by the family. And that's it. And we're here. And it's a great course.
Yeah, I've heard it's a wonderful course and a great summary there of the history. For someone who hasn't been there before, how would you describe the golf course itself?
I would describe the golf course as the best of two worlds. We could describe the golf course as a links experience with a little bit of parkland golf course as well, but always with the sun out. Cascais, the region we are based in, it's 20 miles, maybe 22 miles from Lisbon Airport, Lisbon city center. So we are far yet close from the city center. We are in a secluded place where we have Sintra Mountain with the surrounding golf course. It's a lengthy experience, but also it has in a few holes a little bit of a parkland experience. So it's kind of a mix, and you always want to get back. It's challenging, yet doable. But you have a hard time, but a good time at the same time, if you know what I mean, playing this course.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. And Oitavos has had the honor of hosting the Portuguese Open a number of times now. What's that like for you guys hosting a tournament of that magnitude?
It is good. Also, in addition to that, we hosted the seniors tour, the ladies tour as well, and of course some private events for international brands that use Portugal to host their private events. But getting back to the Open of Portugal was definitely a good possibility for Oitavos to showcase what it was back in the day when we opened and people didn't know what Oitavos Dunes was. But most people didn't know what Cascais as a region that was offering golf was. And this being capable to host such an international event was good to put Cascais and the Lisbon region and more in detail Oitavos in in the people in the vision that people that would like to come and play golf. Now from that point onwards, people start to decide, okay, Cascais, Lisbon, there's a fine golf course there. I want to go and see this place. Because the place where this golf course is situated, this is not a massified tourism destination, okay? This is a residential area for, let's say, Cascais, in the place where the golf course is based. It's the, if not the most premium residential area in the whole country. It's a top three most premium residential area in the area. On top of the residents in the residential area, there are some hotels, but this is not, and it will never be a massified tourism destination. This is a mix of a residential area with a little bit of tourism.
Yeah, and it's growing, which is great. And it seems like the entire region in Portugal, the golf tourism is growing, and courses are all doing their best to keep growing themselves and keeping up with
Absolutely.
the trends. So, what are you guys doing at Oitavos to continue to make sure that you're a great destination where people say, "Hey, I'm going to Portugal. I have to go to your golf course."
So basically, on the commercial side, we're keeping up to date with what needs to be, maintaining contacts with fine tour operators, traveling to the world fairs. I just came from London from a golf conference. Next month, I'm at Yacto in Malaga to see all of, probably your team members will be there. I believe who
Yep.
did I meet last year from your team?
TJ or Ron,
Ron. I met with Ron, exactly, and then he
legend.
came to the golf course. So legend, absolutely. So we keep on putting ourselves in front of uh, the tour operators and the people that can bring business to our golf course. In terms of the golf course, it is our goal to upgrade, maintain. There is not much we need to do to the golf course, but of course you always need to invest to maintain the quality. And we don't want to get caught on the curve, in the meaning that if we need to upgrade something, we will be doing it. Um, but in a nutshell, we believe our golf course, it's a natural landscape and natural links golf experience. We do not wish to have a manicured golf course. That's out of the question for us. It has a strong personality, but we want to keep the product and the golf within the potential client's reach and vision. We we believe that we cannot rest on our laurels for the future. We need to keep up with the commercial, the marketing, be involved, show up so that people remember us, and so forth.
That's very well said. Well, hey, when you plan a trip to Portugal or Taivos, well, it has to be on your rota, your
Has
itinerary when you go out and play. Thanks so much for your time today. And hey, I hope to get back to Portugal, hopefully some point very soon.
uh, very soon.